So, there's this whole drama unfolding around Rachel Zegler's latest project that's got everyone talking. What was supposed to be her big comeback film has reportedly shut down mid-production. Not just delayed or rescheduled, completely halted. While the studio's trying to blame it on scheduling conflicts, industry insiders are painting a completely different picture. According to multiple sources close to the production, things had been deteriorating on set for weeks before everything came crashing down. The whisperers suggest it wasn't budget issues or technical problems that stopped filming. It was Rachel's behavior. Crew members have been talking about her alleged attitude problems, uncooperative energy, and one particularly explosive incident that finally pushed the director to pause the entire production. The tension apparently built up gradually. It started with small things. Eye rolls during line readings, showing up late with coffee in hand, seeming dismissive during blocking rehearsals. A lighting technician reportedly said it felt like she didn't believe she needed to be there, like she was doing us a favor. When these early red flags weren't addressed, the situation apparently spiraled into something much more disruptive. Sources claim Rachel began challenging the script itself, allegedly demanding substantial changes despite the screenplay being finalized. One insider mentioned she seemed to want her character rewritten to better fit her image rather than serving the story as intended. The breaking point came during what should have been a routine direction session when the director gave her some basic notes. Apparently, just simple adjustments about delivery and timing. Rachel allegedly lost her cool. Eyewitnesses report she raised her voice, accused the director of undermining her talent, and stormed off set while still in costume. Cameras were rolling, extras were watching, and that moment reportedly marked the beginning of the end for the production. The fallout was immediate and widespread. A supporting actor supposedly refused to film their scenes with Rachel without a mediator present. The makeup team allegedly started rotating shifts to avoid her trailer. One assistant bluntly described the atmosphere as toxic, saying Rachel had turned the set into a walking PR nightmare. Meanwhile, Rachel reportedly acted like she was the one being victimized, telling others she felt targeted and disrespected. What makes this situation particularly fascinating is how it mirrors other controversies Rachel's been involved in previously. After her widely criticized comments about Snow White, many were watching this film as her chance at redemption. Instead, the headlines have shifted from Rachel Zegler's big comeback role to Rachel Zegler too difficult to work with. The pattern seems consistent, being perceived as uncoachable, rewriting material mid-production and having her behavior become the story instead of the actual project. Online reactions were swift and brutal. Social media exploded with memes. Reddit threads went wild. And one particularly harsh post summed up the sentiment. She's not unlucky. She's just unlikable. This isn't just another celebrity drama. It could have serious career implications. This wasn't some small indie film, but a high-budget studio production meant to rehabilitate her image after previous PR disasters. When a major production halts, and you're at the center of the controversy, industry people take notice. Studios, agents, and casting directors start taking notes. As one entertainment attorney put it, no one wants to insure a lead actor with a meltdown record. Sources say Rachel is already scrambling, reportedly calling in favors, reaching out to publicists to soften the blow, and even contacting journalists she's previously clashed with. Even her fan base seems divided, with some claiming she's being bullied by the media, while others admit they're tired of defending her behavior. What's particularly damaging is that this wasn't even her movie. She was hired to support someone else's vision, not take it over. But now all the attention is focused on her again for all the wrong reasons. The more she tries to position herself as the victim, the more the public seems to roll their eyes. This isn't just another controversy. It could be the moment her attempted career rehabilitation completely collapsed. The most telling part of this whole situation might be the deafening silence from Hollywood after everything fell apart. When drama like this erupts, you'd expect at least someone from Rachel's professional circle to speak up in her defense. A co-star, a previous director, anyone. But instead, there's been this eerie, calculated silence that speaks volumes. Not even a vague supportive Instagram story or generic "I've worked with Rachel and she's amazing" tweet. This kind of industry-wide silence isn't accidental.
Even people who previously name-dropped her at premieres are noticeably absent. When several A-listers who've worked with her were asked about the situation in recent interviews, they either changed the subject or gave hollow responses that screamed, "I want no part of this." Perhaps most telling is the studio's own response or lack thereof. There's no strong statement defending their star, just dry procedural language about production adjustments and commitment to excellence.
The ripple effects are already showing.
One source claims a rising actress attached to a future project with Rachel backed out, citing creative differences.
Hollywood speak for I saw the headlines and I'm not signing up for that drama.
Others have allegedly asked their agents not to pair them with her in casting calls. Even journalists who once praised her are now revisiting her previous statements with fresh eyes, finding quotes that once seemed quirky but now read as entitled. After staying quiet initially, Michelle eventually responded to the controversy, but not in the measured, reflective way most PR teams would recommend. Instead, she went on an impromptu Instagram live rant that only escalated the situation. Dressed in a hoodie and using a blend of sarcasm and defiance, she made comments like, "Everyone's just ignoring my phone calls. Whatever. It's chill. I don't even care." Complete with eye rolls. Viewers weren't supportive. They were shocked. Comments flooded in questioning why she was mocking the situation and acting like the victim. She didn't stop there. Mid-rant, she casually mentioned she would be on a talk show that night where she planned to discuss them, smirking as if threatening the production. She followed this with TikTok clips where she sarcastically referenced her dual role in the film, saying, "There's two of me. Double the trouble. Am I right?" Timing couldn't have been worse after rumors about her being the primary source of problems on set. Even her defenders struggled to justify her behavior, with one fan commenting, "I want to like her, but she makes it so hard." This social media meltdown reportedly happened against her team's advice. Sources claim her representatives had drafted a formal apology and strategy to shift the narrative, but she refused, allegedly saying she was done playing nice. That decision may have serious consequences beyond bad PR. Insiders say the studio's legal team immediately got involved after her posts, reviewing whether she had violated the confidentiality and non-disparagement clauses in her contract. The studio reportedly began documenting everything. Timestamped posts, internal messages, interviews with cast and crew who felt undermined. One assistant allegedly reported feeling genuinely unsafe when Rachel yelled during a blocked scene. This isn't just about reputation anymore. It's potential legal exposure. Rachel's own legal team reportedly advised her to go silent again, but by then the damage was done online. Hashtags like "replace Zegler" started trending. Fan edits replaced her with other actresses. Through it all, the studio maintained complete silence, which often indicates behind-the-scenes legal negotiation. One source close to an executive producer revealed, "This has become a containment situation. It's not about finishing the movie anymore. It's about making sure it doesn't bankrupt anyone." Insurance providers can refuse to cover losses related to talent disruptions, meaning Rachel's outbursts could cost millions. Rumors suggest the studio might be drafting a legal separation clause that would allow them to fire Rachel and restructure the movie without a complete reshoot. Meanwhile, the industry implications continue to spread. PR teams across several agencies have reportedly flagged Rachel as high risk. Talent managers are allegedly warning clients not to be photographed with her. A major brand that had lined up Rachel for a campaign quietly removed her from all promotional materials. No announcement, just gone. Beyond Rachel's individual career troubles, her situation has sparked broader industry conversations about managing young talent, especially those with large social media followings. One insider bluntly stated, "She's a walking HR risk. The red flags were always there. We just ignored them because the hype was too loud." Beyond the immediate fallout from Rachel's behavior, there's a more significant industry shift happening. What started as one actress's meltdown has evolved into a cautionary tale that's making studios rethink how they handle young, outspoken talent. A casting director reportedly told a trade magazine off record that Rachel's situation has actually hurt progress for young actresses who genuinely want to use their platforms for meaningful change. She made activism look bratty, the source said, suggesting this could damage others who are approaching advocacy more responsibly. The ripple effects are already visible. Studios are reportedly inserting behavioral clauses into contracts, especially for actors under 30 with substantial social media followings. These clauses essentially say, express yourself if you want, but don't drag us down with you.
No more unfiltered Instagram live sessions.
No more red carpet speeches that overshadow the actual project. Rachel might have branded herself as authentic, but executives now see that approach as a liability rather than an asset.
It's not just Rachel feeling the impact.
Other outspoken Gen Z stars are reportedly being re-evaluated behind closed doors. Executives are examining past statements, identifying media training gaps, and assessing general communication styles.
But they're asking critical questions. Can this person talk to press effectively? Will they keep on-set issues private? Will they actually promote the film or turn every interview into controversy?
Rachel's situation has made it clear that viral doesn't always mean valuable when it comes to talent.
Even talent representatives are changing their approach.
One younger actress with similar activist leanings was allegedly advised by her team to chill out online for 6 months while they secure her next project. Another was reportedly told to delete a recent tweet thread criticizing studio executives right after signing a multi-picture deal.
The industry spent years trying to appeal to younger audiences by casting bold, outspoken talent and pushing for authenticity. Now they're questioning whether some stars are too authentic, whether their realness creates more problems than benefits.
Rachel's downfall is playing out in real time, and it's making everyone nervous about the next rising star waiting in the wings.
When a promising performer becomes a liability, studios become risk-averse.
The question now isn't just whether Rachel can recover, but whether Hollywood even wants her back.
Comeback stories are common in the entertainment industry. We've seen celebrities fall harder and rise higher.
But those comebacks typically require someone influential in your corner, a mentor, a devoted fan base, or a studio willing to take a chance.
With Rachel, there's mostly silence.
The people who once championed her are distancing themselves as if avoiding legal trouble.
Industry analysts are already calling her situation a reverse Cinderella.
Plucked from obscurity, given a platform, then watching it all disappear at midnight.
Instead of losing a glass slipper, she lost her audience. The same people who once celebrated her as the next big thing now use her name as a punchline. In an era where public perception is currency, this kind of reputational damage doesn't fade easily.
Perhaps the most tragic aspect is that Rachel doesn't seem to grasp the gravity of her situation. Her recent social media activities, mixing sarcasm with self-pity, suggest defiance rather than reflection.
She's doubling down even as support diminishes. When an actress keeps seeking sympathy while the industry moves on, it's not setting up a redemption arc. It's cementing a cautionary tale.
Hollywood is already establishing new rules and creating a new template for young stars, one that Rachel no longer fits. While she might eventually land another role or give another emotional interview claiming growth and change, the hard truth remains that the industry has largely moved on.
Headlines might still feature her name, but the spotlight is shifting to someone else.
Her future project, that buzzy rom-com with an A-list ensemble cast, is reportedly already recasting her role. The official explanation will likely be scheduling conflicts, but insiders suggest it's a quiet way of cutting ties without creating headlines. This situation raises bigger questions about fame, social media, and the changing dynamics between studios and talent in the digital age. When stars have direct access to millions of followers, the traditional PR filters disappear. For better or worse, Rachel's case demonstrates the worse. How quickly an unfiltered voice can undermine years of career building. The industry is watching closely, taking notes, and already implementing changes to prevent the next Rachel situation.
So, the question remains, can Rachel Zegler really bounce back from this cascade of controversies? Or has Hollywood quietly closed the door without her realizing it? The coming months will tell us whether this is just another bump in a long career or the defining moment that altered her trajectory permanently. Whatever happens, one thing is certain.
Her story has already changed how the industry approaches young talent in ways that will impact the next generation of stars.